Giving all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI the bonus to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to the Akim that's out there pushing the sincerity and the truth and the sound doctrine. Really quick video. This is a video put up by GMS Awakening 144. And you know, we as men of the Lord and as prophets have seen this coming, you know what I mean, and have interpreted, by the way, it coming for a long time, all right, for a very long time. You know, the lockdowns, the increase in prices and stuff like that. You know, these are things that we've been prophesying through the spirit of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. These things are coming. These things are approaching, and lo and behold, is here. All right, so we all know, you know, what time it is now, all right? Fuel rationing has begun, as the title reads. Energy lockdown are being introduced, all right, coming to a city near you, all right? So we see here fuel rationing again. With all of this, you know, going on, you know, we already saw this coming, all right? With them limit. Remember, it's the same thing that happened with COVID, right? Remember, they started they putting limits on like chicken and stuff like that. You can only come out of there with a certain amount because it was a shortage, and it's the same thing that's happening here, the fuel shortage, right? So what this is going to do is it's going to make a lot of people, you know, it's going to make a lot of people angry, man. You know, it's going to put pressure on the people. All right. And these are the things that we just going to have to live with, man. All right. So I'm doing this video because people are going to start, you know, going and protesting and stuff like that to Esau Edom, which is the system. We're telling you to file a complaint to the Lord. And what do I mean by that? Pray to him. File all your complaints to the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, because he's the only one that can do something about that. Esau Edom, you know, he's doing what this system is doing, what they're allowed to do. All right, these laws and all this stuff, they're allowed to do it through who? Through the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, the one that gave him all this power. So you file all your complaints to the Lord, man. All right, Ezekiel 9:1. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man with a slaughter weapon, so like every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar, right? And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from a cherub or the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house, right? And it says, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right. These men that were sighing and crying to the Lord, for all the abominations that's being done in the midst thereof, were, another way of saying it is, they were filing complaints. They filed complaints to the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That's what we mean by filing a complaint. You sigh and you cry to the Lord, right, to protect you in these days, man, to protect you in these times, especially this stuff that's getting ready to come down, man, right? Because if you don't, then you're going to be like the rest, rioting, you know, killing or being killed, all this stuff, man. Right? You're going to be left out there if you don't have the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. You're constantly filing complaints to this system, and they're clearly not helping you. That's why the scripture says, "Woe to you that go down to Egypt for help." Right? You're going to be destroyed with a sword destruction if you keep going down that path of filing complaints to Esau Edom in this system. I don't know, I mean, you have the Epstein files that came out. If that tells you not to trust the system, if that don't tell you not to trust the system enough, then I don't know what will. Nothing really will then, man. I mean, it's plain as day in your face. We barely even have to say anything anymore, man. Those Epstein files only confirm exactly what we've been saying. All right. This whole thing with Diddy and this whole thing with Fleece and all this other stuff, man. They're like this because of Esau Edom, man. And those Epstein files prove that. Those damn Epstein files prove that. And if you can't see it by now, you know what I mean? And you're still putting trust in this system, and you're still protesting, to them, liars. Hell, they lie about the food that you eat. You know what I mean? Telling you that is real. But now putting GMO in front of your face by saying by putting non-GMO products in the grocery store. So that's them saying that the rest of the stuff is GMO, or putting organic stuff with separating organic stuff from the regular stuff. They're lying to you about that. So if you still are trusting in this society, there's nothing we can tell you, man. You know what I mean? There's nothing left we can tell you. Like I said, especially after the Ep files, man. You know what I mean? Especially after that. You people still don't get it, man. Right? So you file your complaints to the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Right? And those that file complaints to the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI are the ones that's going to be quiet from fear of evil, as Proverbs 1 says. Right? You want to be quiet from all the fear of evil. All right. So it says, and to the others, now this is the people, these are for the people that didn't, like I just said, like I was just now talking about. These are to the people that didn't file their complaints to the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, but wanted to file their complaints elsewhere. It says, and to the others, he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children, and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at by sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house, right? So for the other people, whether they be old or young, maids, little children, women, men, whatever, they're all going to be left out there. And what's crazy is Esau Edom is actually showing you this. He's starting to show you this, especially towards you, you black women, so-called black women. Your lovers are starting to turn their backs on you. What I mean by your lovers, the ones that make that money. And what do I mean by that? The ones that actually make the money. I'm not talking about making money from a job. No, I'm talking about printing the money. If you want to call it printing the money anymore, because paper money is pretty much useless, right? The people that own the money, those Jews, they are starting to turn their backs on y'all, man. And we're telling you, you better come out of that feminist mindset, because in that day that these times that we're approaching, these whole gas shortages, energy rationing and stuff like that, it's getting ready to get rough, man. For all of us. It's getting ready to get real rough. That's why we doing, we do these lessons and these videos, and we got Passover coming up, man. This stuff is serious, man. This stuff is serious. This stuff is very serious. Right. So anyway, giving all praise, honor, glory to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI.